We're making the cabled fingerless mitts. Calls for size 6 double-pointed needles. Usually they come in sets of 4 or 5. We're only going to need 4 today, so we'll set one aside. 3 of them will be used to hold our stitches, and the 4th will be used to work the stitches around. The materials also call for stitch holders. There's a few different kinds. I can demonstrate each if you want. There's what's typically referred to as a J-hook, cable stitch holder, and a stitch holder that kind of opens like a safety pin. And I like this kind because it secures your stitches. They're not going to slip off the ends. You may want to have a crochet hook on hand in case you drop a stitch. They're very handy for picking up stitches. You'll need a tapestry needle. I prefer the metal ones because I always break the plastic ones. And some shears, some way of measuring your piece. Patterns will also often say knit 4 inches or whatever. So I like to actually use a wooden ruler, plain old ruler. Then what they don't require, but I recommend, are these end point protectors, because when you're working on the round on double pointed sometimes, especially if you have a lot of stitches on your needle, what'll happen is while you're working on one needle, the stitches like slide off the other ones. So I like to cap, for lack of a better term, the needles that I'm not working on at the moment, so the stitches don't fall off the end. So there's a couple different varieties and bunches of sizes, and I like to have those when I double point, but they're not required. The pattern calls for 48 stitches divided equally on 3 needles. So for a beginner, what I would do is I would cast on 48 onto one needle. When you're more advanced, you can say, okay, well, eventually I'm going to divide them evenly. That makes 16 per needle, so cast on 16, and then while you're still holding it, you can use the second and cast on 16. But it's a little tricky, so to start, just put all 48 cast on stitches on one needle, and then I'll show you how to transfer them evenly onto 3.